What's up, guys? Adam Palmer here, and I'm going to take this opportunity to let you guys know from a client's perspective what we're thinking when we post jobs. And if you are a client that's new to Upwork, this video may be really helpful for you to hire the right talent. I can't tell you how often I hear from clients that have had bad experiences in the past because they hired wrong from the get-go. I want to show you guys what it's like to post a job on Upwork and how to maximize the talent that comes your way. So if you're a freelancer, this may be helpful because maybe this is stuff that you've never seen and why it's important to line up your profile to coincide with what clients are posting. And from the client side, maybe there's some tactics here that will help you improve the quality talent that is coming your way. This is from the main homepage of a client account, and you see Upwork makes it really easy for you to post a job. And for this particular job, I'm looking for a virtual assistant to help us with our agency Automate Scale. And, by the way, we've spent probably about 1.5 million on this system hiring freelancers by this point. So, we've spent a lot of time in the past posting jobs and doing this type of stuff. So, we've really seen it all. For right now, we're going to post a long-term project and we're going to start it from scratch. So we're not going to use a previous job post. We're just going to show you guys the whole thing here. Yeah, I had one started, so I was thinking about maybe continuing a draft, but let's just take it from the top. Write a title for your job post. So we're looking for a VA, and I think automatically you want to try and find top tier talent because there's a lot of people out there that it's their first rodeo and they may not be able to do what you need. So I think that automatically you're going to want to speak to the people that have been here enough on Upwork to know their way around and have skills, but maybe not so much that they may have a process that won't coincide with your needs right now, because they may just be looking for a bigger fish or part of like an agency style that they have, and it could get complicated. So, but for us, for this video, let's just start it with expert virtual assistant. We could decide whether we want it US based or worldwide within the settings, but I think generally speaking, you don't want to limit yourself to who is applying, just because in the rare chance that it could be someone from the US stationed somewhere else and there could be a technicality, and you don't want to not allow them to bid or create a barrier, I think, just from someone looking at it. Expert virtual assistant needed. So you see how it will match you with candidates that specialize in general virtual assistants. So already Upwork is understanding our needs, right? So that's gonna, again, open up a bunch of different ways the algorithm works to connect you with the best possible chance for the talent. And so it's selected general virtual assistants. You could also select social media marketing, lead generation. So these are all important things, but for us, it's going to be more in the realm of general virtual assistants, but we could see all categories right here. Admin support, that's the main category. And then the specialty is general virtual assistants. But we could get more granular, like data entry, legal virtual assistants, executive virtual assistants, personal virtual assistants. So there's a lot of subcategories that we could get into, but I think generally speaking for this, we're talking general. So I think it made the right decision there. And generally speaking, Upwork's probably going to make the right call because they've seen so many different posts by this point, right? Like they get millions and millions of posts like that through the years they've been open. So let's go into the skills, and here we could add, but these are the popular ones. So Of course, email communication is going to be a big one. And once you select, then it will also understand more of your needs and refer other things. So, virtual assistants, and see how it's changing here. You could see more. Be great if they knew Facebook. Hey, if they knew some data entry, that would be good too. Communications is obviously something. If they knew administrative support, so they could, if people for our agency, if they have an issue, maybe it could go to them. They could be responsive. The best people that you're going to find on Upwork are the ones that are dedicated to the task. And you should be so selective, and this is my client hat, that you should be so selective that know that there's an abundance of freelancers. Basically, some are going to dedicate themselves and some are going to not dedicate themselves, right? And so you want to go with the first ones, and you could be selective because there's going to be so many that are going to bid for this type of job, right? Because this is something a lot of people can do. And on the freelancer side, you better be ready to really dedicate yourself if you want the bid, because other people they are already dedicating themselves, and they will be around 24/7. They won't care if it's the weekend. They will work. They don't care if it's 5 p.m. They don't have certain things that will pull them away from being able to reply to things. They have phones. They're ready to work around the clock. But some people have big boundaries, right? Like they only work specific times of the day. They won't work weekends. They may have a lot of children, which, life gets in the way for a lot of people. Some people have disasters and get sick every day. I've seen that also. I've seen that so many times where it's just like catastrophe after catastrophe after catastrophe, and you don't know if they're crying wolf or if they're really just living the most worst existence of life possible, because there's honestly typhoons and all sorts of earthquakes, and because a lot of this help is coming from offshore places. So they're dealing with things that we've never even experienced in a place which is not experiencing things like that. So that happens all the time. And then the whole COVID situation. So some people are going to dedicate themselves and show up even if they're sick, and then some people are just gonna always never show up, and stuff that's crazy is gonna happen. So you want to look out for that, and I'll show you guys how to see certain patterns that will hopefully save you a lot of pain and a lot of money later. So yeah, so we have general virtual assistance tools. Now this is really good because these different platforms help you identify people that are more technically inclined when it comes to virtual assistants. And that's really important because you don't want to have to spend your time training everybody. And wearing my freelancer hat, guys, look, if you can start to own knowing these different platforms, you are going to not only be able to qualify for more jobs, and Upwork's going to know this and sync you up with these things, but you're probably going to be able to charge more versus a virtual assistant that doesn't know these things, right? Because as a client, I'm looking to not train people and identify people that have sub skills. So think Adobe, Photoshop, that would be great for them to know. Shopify, hey, heck yeah. If they know AI, maybe if they know WordPress, that would be great. If they know Asana, that may mean that they know other things. But that you do fill up here. So then you want to say, okay, which one maybe isn't my favorite? Well, let's pull Asana away and just see a couple others. E-commerce, digital marketing, file maintenance, that would be nice. But most people know that already. Like bookkeeping, I do need help with payouts and things like that for our agency. So, maybe like bookkeeping would be great. So we're going to put that all here, okay? Actually, let's pull Adobe Photoshop because we have designers on the team, so we really don't need that. Let's see here. But maybe if they have a digital marketing background, that could be really nice because then they can understand a little bit of what, our agency does. So we don't have to get too overarching and talk about, what even is a digital marketing agency and what automation is, and things like that. So maybe I have a little bit of a background in that would be nice. So you see, for the best results, add 3 to 5 skills, but like, why limit yourself, right? But as long as they are in the right wheelhouse. I'm iffy on the WordPress, but why not? If they know WordPress, that means they can learn a lot of other CMSs. And do you guys see how I'm making the correlation between platforms? Like, a lot of platforms are built the same. So if you know HubSpot, you probably know how to use Klaviyo, or you know how to use Go High Level, or the many other platforms that are similar. If you know how to use Photoshop, you probably know how to use maybe Illustrator. You know how to use Canva. These other platforms that are similar, if not easier, right? Like, you could always assume if they know Photoshop, they definitely know how to use Canva, right? So you can kind of backlog. If they know WordPress CMS, they most likely know how to use a lot of different ClickFunnels CMSs that are really easy. Think Lead Pages, ClickFunnels, things like that, if they're versed in sales funnel stuff. So, I'm just speaking as a marketer, but it's similar in the realm of all platforms this way. Okay, if we're thinking virtual assistants, think G Suites, think Calendly, like using Calendly, think using Zoom, stuff like that. But I could assume if they know this stuff, they probably know Zoom also, hopefully, right? Like we could, there's other places to add that. Okay. So medium, well-defined projects, maintain CRM records for a sales team. Like I just mentioned, you can add these other scopes and part of the projects. So we can change this. We can change to longer term or complex initiatives, set up day-to-day process to maintain projects and operational. Medium, well-defined projects, maintain CRM records like we just stated. And then small, quick, and straightforward tasks, build a contact list for web search, blah, blah, blah. So I think, again, they did a good job just putting it in the Goldilocks site, medium. I think that's fine. I don't think we want people right now that are charging $95 an hour for virtual assistants. I think I want to stay in like that maybe $20 range or something like that, 25, because I don't want like an expert, but I do want someone competent. Okay, so I think it's all about that Goldilocks person for this job. If I was going to build an app, if I was going to build a sales page or get an expert, it's a different story, because we're talking ROI, stuff like that. That's going to allow me, like personally on my freelance journey, to charge that expert level stuff that's way beyond that, right? Like I'm charging $750 an hour right now. So how long will your work take? More than 6 months, because we're looking for someone that is excited to have a long-term contract. There's going to be freelancers like myself, again, that's not going to work a long time, hiring type of thing. I'm not looking to be hired by a company. I'm just looking for consulting, a couple hours, that type of thing. For this person, it's different. What level of experience will it need? So I think I'm looking for expert at this time, because hopefully that will attract the people that are not experts but are hungry to be experts to apply. I think that usually it gravitates towards the other. I don't want someone that's completely new to this field, though it could get you someone that's really charging very low fees if you're that type of client that's looking for, like a bargain in this, because you will get people that will take on their first task on Upwork, even though they are experts, for not that much. So it could be attractive to do that, but I'm a little worried at this moment, because I am really looking for someone competent, and I don't want to waste time, because I feel that the most expensive freelancer is the one that doesn't do what they say they're going to do and kind of cops out. And this is an example where this really benefited me personally, was when I wrote my book, because I got this ghostwriter to help me out with a lot of things, because actually I have it right here. So I used a ghostwriter to help me. Basically, we would collaborate together. I would just just kind of vomit out of my mouth for hours, and she'd copy it down, help me with the grammar, because I sounded like a moron a lot of times, and she put it all together, and it was great. And we were just talking the other day, and I'm like, hey, I want to make a book for agencies, kind of like a continuation to this book, which is more for like getting started. I mean, there's a little bit of agency stuff in here, but it's more for like getting your personal journey established on an Upwork. And now I want to talk agency. So I was like, let's do something new. And she's like, yeah, we're starting at $50,000 for the book. $50,000. Like, are you crazy? Yeah. And she's charging this much. And she established herself on Upwork. I was one of her first people like on Upwork, and she had credentials from the past, but she was always a company person and doing these types of professional writing, but always with a company. And then she got on her own and she became a freelancer, and I just happened to pick her up, and she was like, Adam, I have this background. I'm like, yeah, I'll try it. So she was doing $50 an hour at that time, which, it added up. I think, we probably spent 15 grand on that at the end of the day, but 50, I don't know. I mean, that would have been difficult for me to hand over. That's difficult. That's a lot of money. So, I think that sometimes you get really lucky with that. And then there's an intermediate where I think you're going to get the middle of the road. And I'm tempted right now to actually choose intermediate just because I want to get as many people as possible. And I think even the entry level people who have some level of competency will attempt to apply for this. But because I want to do a video, guys, I'm thinking about it. I want to get as many people as possible. And I think also the experts will most likely, even though it says intermediate, why not? Why wouldn't they vote or apply for this? Because they know that they're very competent, and if they're hungry, they're gonna apply for it anyway. If they're well filled already on projects, I mean, you don't want that person anyway. Is this job a contract to hire opportunity? I think right now this is new, guys, and so let's talk about this for a second. I know we're already at 20 minutes now, so I want to respect your time, but it could be, and again, I think that we want people that are hungry. So right now, like, let's open that up, because the type of person that we want is someone, again, that's going to be devoted towards this. This isn't a fly by night position that we want. This isn't a batch thing. We're going to have our agency for the foreseeable future. So, as long as we have that agency going, we're going to really need some administrative help here. And we just, unfortunately lost our person. So, we need someone immediately here. So we will select that. That's fine. Next is location. And we're really looking to hire someone US only for the moment. But because, like I was saying earlier, there could be some technicalities like that US person. I mean, we don't, why we want the US only person perhaps is because if we're going to be bidding on jobs, as you see, a client selects this, our VA person won't be able to apply for that job. So that's going to inhibit part of their job function if we select worldwide. And so normally I would select worldwide, but because of this fact, for right now, I have to be cognizant of that and make sure that it's a US only person, because part of the job function for this person is going to be applying from our agency on Upwork. I would highly suggest, if you're just hiring normally and part of the job function isn't applying for jobs, which 99% of you watching, it's not going to be for doing this particular function, right? So I would suggest worldwide, because you're going to get a much wider audience and amount of people applying that are very well suited and can do exactly, what the person in the US can do. We've hired talent all corners of the world. And so if you're a freelancer out there thinking, oh, I live here, it's not fair, blah, 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 understand that most of our team has been hired from all corners of the world. And most of that, $1 million plus spend on Upwork has been to freelancers, spread out everywhere. And some of those people are US people, but just somewhere else too. So it comes in all different ways. But for this purpose, because of these reasons, that's why I'm going to choose the US only for right now. Now, as far as time zones, yeah, maybe Eastern time zone would be great. I don't think this is going to completely prohibit people from the US from applying, but it says right here, these location preferences will be displayed to freelancers and agencies, but anyone can submit proposals. Okay, so for the US, it doesn't matter. They'll still be able to apply. But if you're worldwide, you're most likely not going to be able to apply, unless I think that there's some specific instances when they are. But for the most part, they're going to say you can't. Okay, so keep that in mind, everybody. So next is the budget. Now, we can put our budget here, and I would put like a big like spread. Maybe we do 5 because we're like, oh, let's see what we can get. And some clients do that, which is silly. I mean, you can get those, if you just want something very simple done, that's going to be a job function that's there. And some people are going to be excited about that, right? But it really depends on the complexity here. And so if you're a client that's just getting started on, project management, don't really understand this, I would just kind of leave it blank, because what's going to happen is if you put a top end, like, 27 or 57 or 175, people are just going to generally apply with that number. Okay. But then if you put the low end, I think that you could get some projects for that, but you have to be cognizant of the type of people that are going to be, comfortable with that rate. So I think for right now, your best bet is to keep it completely open to everybody's imagination and let the market decide, because, freelancers should have, and this is a good lesson for the freelancers. They should know their own business, right? So they should say, hey, this is my hourly rate, own it, and here's why. Okay. And on the client side, I think the last thing you really want to do is get into a haggle thing and get people down so they're not excited about showing up to work. Like, you want them to feel like, oh, I'm getting compensated for my time. I want to show up and everybody's happy, because this is a long-term project, right? So keep it open and just say, continue without an hourly rate. Okay. And so describe what you need. If you're watching this video, maybe I'll speed this up, but basically, we can get really lengthy here. But I probably should have prepared this before. But the thing is, you can change this before people start bidding, but let's get something going here. And if you're watching this live, I'm sorry if the next 5 minutes are going to be boring, but let's go through it. Already have a description, paste it here. Yeah, that would be great, but let's do it freehand. Looking for someone well versed in general virtual assistant tasks. Be great if the person had experience in Google G Suite, CRMs, like Active Campaign. So I'm just going to, here's the thing, guys. The more you throw into this, the more Upwork is going to be able to understand what it is you need. So from freelancer side, this is why I think it's so important to put different platforms that you work with, okay? Because they're going to make those connection points, like Active Campaign, G Suites, okay, CRM. So I want to get specific here. From the client side, this is why it's so important to put the platforms in, because the freelancers that know these different platforms are going to be able to respond. And so I think this is where the true kind of magic happens with how you can use search engine optimization for your profile to get the kind of jobs that you want, right? So, okay, so let's get more specific here. Go high level, that would be great, because we use that a lot. I mean, our whole agency is built on go high level. Maybe if they know ClickFunnels, that would be nice. Again, it would be nice if the person knew digital marketing. I'll just put in Gmail, because again, we're trying to make that connectivity, and we want the freelancer to have some level of confidence and connection points on our end where they can, when they do apply, say, hey, Adam, like I know this stuff. I've used this in my past job, all these things. So we can even put QuickBooks, because we were talking about possible bookkeeping. And if they know QuickBooks, again, maybe they know some other platforms that are similar to QuickBooks that both systems will know, because Upwork obviously knows that QuickBooks is similar to other platforms, right? So then that's going to make some more connection as far as like in the bookkeeping world. Now, let's also put that looking for someone that is able throughout the week in multiple time zones and be available outside of typical work hours, since our team is spread out around the world along with their clients. Looking for someone well-versed in general virtual assistant tasks. Would be great if the person had experience in Google Suite, CRMs like ActiveCampaign, Go High Level, ClickFunnels, Gmail, QuickBooks. Looking for someone that is able to work throughout the week in multiple time zones and can be able to be available outside of typical work hours, since our team is spread out around the world along with our clients. And you see, I could add a lot more here, but is it completely necessary? And so here's what a lot of clients do, but I don't really like to make my freelancers jump through hoops like dolphins. So some people put like, to make sure I know you read this brief, please say the word automate, or words, or the phrase automate scale. So I don't do this generally, right? Like there's many clients that do, and I'm going to do it for the sake of this video, because I really want to demonstrate how often people don't read the brief with some real statistics here. So like we can know for certain whether they did or not. But normally I wouldn't do this, because I think it's annoying when, I am applying, so I don't apply for many jobs. I get mostly invites. So for me, I think it's annoying when I get invited and then I see that hoop dolphin thing, because it's just like, dude, you invited me. So like, I read this thing. Like, I don't even want to respond with like, oh, automate scale, or like these phrases, where they ask me that, because it's like, okay, you invited me. So I don't know. It's probably the wrong mentality, but I want to show you guys how often people that are spending Connect don't actually read the job posting, which freelancers, that means there's such an opportunity to read what I'm writing here and respond with actual ways of proving that you've read the job posting and understand it and can do what I need, right? Which should be for most people. I mean, most people should be able to do this type of job if they're willing to show up, right? So that's the delineating factor here. But I want to show you guys how often people, that will copy and paste without actually reading the job post fully, or just, reply with something so AI driven. It's so ridiculous. They obviously didn't read it. And then you'll see, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it'll change because connects are expensive these days, but you'll only see like 10% of the people actually read it. And maybe I'll be wrong this time, but here we go. Okay. So, so people that are posting jobs, clients, if you're a client, just be aware that you really do want to find the people that take the time to read through this. And if they are just posting generic stuff, just be quick to thumbs down them. And I'll show you guys how to do that in a little bit here. And so we reviewed the job post, short and sweet. All the skills are there. And you can go back and change everything here, like I was saying earlier. Advanced preferences, hours per week, hire date, and more. So we can go through the screening options. Okay, so screening options. Here's the thing. I hate these because, again, I get a lot of invites. And when I see these different screening questions, when you're getting 10 to 15 invites a day, and if you don't answer the invites, they pile up. So you're replying to like 30 invitations sometimes. The last thing I want to do is reply to these types of questions, because my goal is to get on the phone with them anyway, and we could work these types of things out. I try to make my profile so apparent in what I do and the work that I've done that they shouldn't even need to ask those types of questions. And if they need to, my profile isn't where it should be, and I need to work on some things like case studies or portfolio items or things like that. So as a freelancer, all the questions should be answered on the profile. So at the end of the day, the client should be able to have those answers without even asking these things. I think that should be the goal. But I do think sometimes the screening questions are important for specific jobs that are, in I think the more technical areas, right? And those jobs exist. And I wouldn't want to hire someone that, say, for an engineering purpose, you didn't know, specific concepts or, things that are drastically going to affect the outcome of your project. Think app development, specific languages, stuff like that, it's a deal breaker. So perhaps there's times when you want to ask these questions. And when those things happen, when those questions arise, I would say, again, as a client, I would say write your own question, because it should be a specific deal breaker, okay? But what I don't think you should do as a client is ask these generic questions, and which is describe your recent experience with similar project. I think that shouldn't be necessary, because that should be available within the freelancer's profile. And if their cover letter seems sincere, your move is to check out that profile, right? So this shouldn't even waste your time, I think. And then please list any certification related to the project. Again, that's the first thing people see when they go to a profile. What office applications are you most familiar with? That's a new generic question, I believe. So at least I haven't seen that one. And how do you handle sensitive information or records? This one, I don't know. That's kind of cringe. And how do you ensure accuracy while typing? That there's so many. I don't know. I just think I don't want to waste the time of the freelancer with these questions. I want to feel it out on gut. But if you feel so inclined to ask these questions, do it. But from the freelancer side, it's just kind of annoying. And again, most of this information should come in a qualitative sense from the profile, and know if a person's competent based on their portfolio, what they've done, what they're saying. We have the advanced preferences down here. So English level, any level. For this, I think it would be best if it was fluent or better, or native or bilingual only. Let's just put it at any level. Let's keep it open. Add languages. No, we don't need any other languages. We really don't want to filter out potential people, I think, for this particular job. More than 30. I would put this. I'm not sure yet, just again, because we really don't want to prohibit possibly good people from seeing this, right? Because if they don't see it, there's no way they're going to bid on it. And we don't want that. So keep it open as much as possible. Hire date, we don't need to mess with this. And I think that, again, we want to open this up, and we may even want to hire more than one person, because if you guys haven't seen some of my presentations on hiring and not getting burned by freelancers, you'll know that even though you hire people, it doesn't always work out. And what you don't want to happen is for you to hire someone, and then Upwork knows that you hired someone, so they push that job down because it thinks you only need one person, and then the people seeing that project can see that someone got hired, and they see that they only need one person, so they won't spend the connect. So again, the most expensive freelancer is the one that wastes your time. this is going to solve that problem, possibly wasting time with hiring the wrong people, because I have hired people that seemed awesome and we've been on the same page and it seemed perfect, and all of a sudden they don't show up, something happens, it gets crazy out there. I have long history hiring freelancers, so I've seen this happen many times. So you always want to be able to allow Upwork to know that this thing's still available and people should still try and throw their hat in, okay? So job success score, any job success, 80 and up, anything I think you want. You don't want to rely on the JSS alone because things happen. I've fallen below 80. No, I don't think I've fallen below 80, but I fell below 90 and I lost my top rated. That sucked. And it took me a while to be able to work that back up again. But as a freelancer, understand that. Don't lose hope, because I got one of my biggest projects when I fell below and lost the top rated. I think they thought they could get me at like a cheaper rate, and they were just like, oh, you got like a bad JSS score, like maybe you need this contract and blah, 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 blah. And they tried to negotiate, but because I had a system, I didn't allow them to, but it turned into a great contract. Anyway, keep this open as a client, because you don't want to lose someone that's really great because of some technicalities brought their JSS down. So I wouldn't worry about that. Amount earned, again, you could want someone that's never done anything before, but there's a lot of talent out there that hasn't gotten their first job and is very hungry. They're qualified. They had a job in the past. Maybe they recently got let go from somewhere, and they're looking to establish themselves as a freelancer. And I think that sometimes those are the best people, like I was mentioning during my book. So I think that amount earned should be open. And then we have job post preferences, optional. Who can see your job? So this definitely don't want invite only, because then you're really only gonna be you're gonna get very few people that are coming to it. You're gonna have to invite a lot of people, and you're only allowed to invite so many people, so you're gonna have to spend money to get it. So you want the hungry people that are searching for jobs. So anyone, including in the search engine. So this opens it up to Google and Bing and all those other things. Only Upwork users. So this means they have to be logged in. And, I don't think there's a big reason to do this if you're a client, unless you want to kind of keep it behind a wall like that. And here we could add coworkers to this job post. So share with coworkers. So I could also bring in people in the agency to be able to hire along with me here. So, I could bring in to help with the interview. Okay. Inviting you to the job to help with the interview. And then this brings them right in to be able to hire and pay. So this is normally what I would do if I didn't have this, but Evo is already in the team and can help me hire. So, there's no reason for me to do this. So I'm just going to remove it. But that's how you would do that. So we're not going to add anybody. Tell me how I can reach more freelancers and agencies and hire in less time. So this is going to signal to Upwork that you may need assistance and stuff like that. So I don't need that, and we'll feature your job, and top talent will receive special discounts to work on your talent. So we don't need to do that right now. And the invite talent. So this is more or less for people that I have hired before, and we're not going to do this either right now. But if I start typing, the part of the team members that are already on here will start going. So we're going to post this job, and we're basically done here, guys. So congratulations, your job post is now live. And now, as you see, and this is, again, super important for freelancers that are watching, because you'll see what we see as clients after we post the job. So now we get to this section, invite freelancers, right? And you'll see who rises to the top and what type of information is being displayed here. So we have Nicholas, VA. So right off the bat, this is why it's important to put this in your headline, because Upwork's connecting the people. Here's your case in point. VA, EA, wide range of skills such as video editing and project management. I didn't even think about video editing, but that's a great skill set to have if you're going to be, helping with clients these days, because video is so important, like this video, right? So $30 an hour, 78% JSS. So even though it's a 78 JSS, Upwork is still pushing Nicholas up, which is pretty amazing and should be exciting for you if you're watching, if your JSS has creeped below and you're not top rated, because Nicholas has earned 300K and he's established himself. So consistency and continuity is the most important factor when seeing, who is rising to the top, because Upwork knows Nicholas closes deals, he makes money, he's consistent, and that's nice for them to see. You also see that the relevant skills, like I mentioned before, really playing a part here because they show up. He's connected on a lot of these, right? You see the media marketing, virtual assistants, Microsoft Excel. This is what I was talking about earlier with Upwork understanding cross-platform things. If you know one platform, you may know another platform that's similar. Digital marketing, PR, web analysis. Seems very in line with what I need, right? And this is without him really even saying a word to me. It's just showing up in the profile. I'm having answers from questions I would have displayed right in front of me. What happens if I click? Boom. Here's Nicholas's profile. This is why it's so important that your profile is the best part of your presentation. You guys don't believe me. You guys always think I'm crazy when I say this. But the best part of your proposals is an awesome profile. So you go in here, you automatically see how close, the reviews start to play in. And, so you see that, there's some issues. But, maybe something happened, but he had to end it. He's got a good portfolio. This could be the reason why he got that JSS score brought down in the first place. So maybe it was just like, a one-off issue. You go through, you see that most of the other stuff is about him being responsive, attentive. He's done a lot of different projects. He knows how to do certain things. A lot of it's fixed price. So we won't go spend all day at Nicholas's profile, but you guys see how it all, the continuity really plays a big part here, because I need to know Nicholas can do the position I need, and I could just so easily either love him right now, okay, add him to a list. And this is important if you guys are working on a talent bench here, because you could just add them right into these areas, which is great for later. Or I can just invite him into this job, and then you'll see what happens when I do that. I invite Nicholas into the job here, like you invite, and you can just send out a generic message. Something happened, not sure, a little technical snafu, but you'll see, if you saw it, that I have 30 invites available, okay? So as you see, we don't have to spend all day here seeing what a client sees, but I think you guys get the general gist of what we see and how easy it is to connect these people. Down here is interesting. These are what looks like very, very new people. So you'll also see that Upwork is pushing people that are possibly brand new to the marketplace, because I suggested that, I don't really need someone necessarily with a big track record. And you'll see that there's no track record here from Scott. He's at 17 an hour, and, he doesn't have a lot to go off of. Scott can hit me up if he's out there, and I can help him work on his profile. But, again, here's where opportunity comes into play. Upwork is recommending people without very, very much on their profile. So if Scott had more on his profile, I may be even more attracted to inviting him into the job. But I'm just not right now, because I don't have much to go off it with. He should have more portfolio items and kind of show up a little more, in my opinion. But as you see, this is a similar thing on the second page here. Not a lot of information. A lot of people don't seem to have had one job yet when it comes to these virtual assistance jobs. So it's a competitive marketplace for sure, but there's a lot of opportunity to get exposure. And so if you can make an attractive profile here, push comes to shove, I mean, you can get really ahead here. And you see what you're up against. Look at how little Alexis is putting in her profile. And clients, again, you should see how many people there are to choose from. So I think you should be very selective when it comes down to this. So, I'm a virtual assistant here, and specifically specialize in working to help anyone who comes to me with any issues or advice needed to further improve on what they need or working towards. But I have no idea, how I can possibly know that you can do that. And then I see that you spelled assistant wrong down here on your employment history. So the only thing I have to really go off of is that it seems like you're incompetent when it comes to making your own profile, right? So competency is a big thing. Be selective if you're a client. Freelancers, don't make profiles like Alexis. I have a ton of videos out there going through profiles and how to make them better. And if you go to, I don't know where you're watching this video, but if you go to freelanceking.com/review, I can also, I have a form there where I can review your profile. If it's still public, if you're in the community, it's a different story. I'm helping freelancers there all the time with their profiles. So yeah, make sure your profile is awesome, because again, your best part of your proposal, and these people aren't sending proposals, but they're out there. They want to get work. They're on Upwork, and Upwork is even feeding them exposure, but still they don't have enough on their profile to be seen. They're not utilizing their property, and there's a big opportunity to stand out. So do that. Just some other examples. Okay, I am from Honduras. In my country, I've worked administration assistant for the Caterpillar brand. I moved to the United States, California, started restaurant area. Now this is, it's just a paragraph. I mean, she should really break out platforms that she's worked with, things that she's done. And guys, even, being on Facebook, being on these social media platforms, being well versed in these areas, TikTok, a lot of people don't fully understand these platforms. So if you can bring anything to the table as far as skill set is concerned, that's what you need to talk about. Not stuff that's irrelevant. You want to talk about digital skills that you have. Think about the platforms that I talked about. Most of those platforms that I talked about can be learned on YouTube right now. So, if Alejandra wants to actually have applicable skills, she could spend her afternoon learning about literally the platforms that I mentioned, and instantly, guys, you could develop lucrative skills in these departments where people will hire you. Does that make sense? So again, clients, be selective and know that you don't want to spend your time educating them. So that's why, all these people are listed, but very few actually come to the table with saying, okay, well, here, let's see Naomi's. It seems like it's at least organized a little better. Detail-oriented virtual assistant, proficient in tasks such as data entry, appointment scheduling and managing, emails, strong organizational skills, excellent communicator, dedicated to delivering high-quality results, adaptable to various industries, committed to optimizing efficiency for business professionals, ready to contribute my skills to enhance your business operations. Skills. Boom, 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 boom. Most of those other people that we saw earlier didn't even have these skills laid out. I mean, it's crazy, right? So $25 an hour, that seems, in the wheelhouse of what we're looking for. Employment history, health technician, okay, behavioral health technician. one of these things, I don't know, or I guess, no, this is in Spanish or something, maybe. So anyway, but yeah, like this Glendale Community College, awesome. Arizona, that sounds okay. There's a lot more attractive here. So boom, I can invite. Okay. So I'm going to send an invite. That's more in line with the things that we need. And you see here, this is kind of crazy. And this can sometimes get you noticed if you're just starting out. The fact that this person is willing to work for $3 an hour. Like, what's going on there? Comprehensive support to business professionals, skilled in managing schedules, maintaining a high level of client satisfaction, multitasking. Oh, okay. And again, no track record, very little skills, filled out a crazy rate. And you have to wonder about that. So we're going to just talk to April. I mean, I don't want to hire her at $3 an hour, obviously, but if she's really, really out there looking to try and connect, that could be a way of at least getting some interest. Okay. And then as we move on, again, we have 30 invites. We're not going to do it all during this video, but I just want you guys to get an understanding of these different things. We probably don't have anybody yet that's applied, in real time here. So we're going to have to make another video on that because that's a different story, right? These are the people that are applying, spending connects, and not just, and these are people that are being recommended by Upwork. So let's check out Walter. I can help with tasks like setting reminders, answering questions, providing weather updates, and more. Walter, you got to do better than this. I'm sure there's more stuff that you can do, and you need to work on your profile, buddy. Let's keep going down. Shelly, I love serving as an assistant. I am thrilled, skilled multitasker, and I'd love to help your day be more organized and flow more easily. Communication is important to me, so stay in touch. So there's some employment history here, which, maybe the receptionist has something to do with something, but this was from like 20 years ago. Swimming pool operator, manager, maybe that has something to do with what I need, but not really, right? Like, it would be great, again, to understand, any type of skills that Shelly needs, but there's nothing here, guys. So if you are going to make a profile, you gotta be a little bit specific of your skills. It's going to be really helpful because if you're, you guys see what I'm seeing, right? Like, I'm not going to waste my time just talking to someone that just can be a person that can be in front of a computer, literally. Like they should have some level of skills that they can bring to the table, because there are people that have a lot of skills that are coming to the table. You get my drift? Here, okay. So here's a little more data. I'm surprised so many people have no data, though. It's really crazy. This person has a lot more reviews. Help the CEO not go crazy. That's funny. Yeah. So thank you so much for being so considerate. I've been on Upwork since 2015 and continue to have long-term clients or projects all over the world. As a freelancer, I embrace all the challenges, counting. See, here, this is why she's been doing this a long time. She's listing out her skill sets, and it's not even that long of a profile, but you see that how helpful that is. And then she gets it. She's worked 6,879 hours. This is a person that clearly gets it. I think for right now, Jasmine's a little out of my league for the spend, but maybe not. I mean, it could, maybe she brings to the table some real time-saving stuff that can be really helpful. It seems like, she has private earnings, so I'm not sure exactly how much she operates or charges. So I don't have a lot to go off of. I also don't have what seems like a lot of feedback recently. Okay, great assistant, and because she got busier over time with her growing business. That's what I'm kind of afraid of. She's like a little too busy. Yeah, here we go. I didn't have enough time to actually judge the quality. But I needed someone to be very responsive, and unfortunately it didn't work out for us. So, that's going to play into her being busy. It seems, and that happens because the Talent goes fast. 3.7. I was able to jump into a very complex project with a lot of chefs in the kitchen. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm sure she does great. She had some tough times scaling, and maybe she can't be around the clock for people these days. But I need someone that's kind of around the clock, right? So yeah, so I'm not going to invite Jasmine, but it's nice to see some statistics here. Again, if you're just starting out, this is nice to see like how the competition doesn't really have a lot on their profile. So, just let's check out Yocasta. I can help you with managing your business, test out products, make phone calls, and send out emails. I can also manage calendars, plans, and manage them. That's better than some of the other ones, but I think that you can add to this and get even more specific. A virtual assistant, customer service, customer. So that's cool. That's cool to know, but it doesn't look like it lasted very long. Seems like at a low rate, you probably weren't that excited for the gig. But it's cool that you got that review, which is worth its weight in solid gold, as I've mentioned a million times for freelancers. So sometimes you just want to get some points on the board. It's helpful. It helps me right now know that, like, okay, she completed it, got the 5 stars. That's cool. And now she feels a little more confident. I bet she'd be more excited to work $10 an hour versus $3 an hour. So, I think that it would be a good idea to invite Yocasta to at least see what she's got. I mean, she was cogent in what she can do. So I think that's interesting. And then we have next page here. And obviously, I'm just skipping around, going randomly here, paying attention to just, like what Upwork's feeding us. And here's something with, a lot of a lot of stats added to it. This is Christina's. And so, yeah, we start out her. I love what I do. HubSpot automations, consulting, design, etc. Email marketing. Boom. So this is a person that's proficient in digital marketing. I know that right off the bat. This is why it's so important to jump into what it is that you do right from the start when you're making your profile. I mean, guys, like, this is what you see. So I don't want to see a weird testimonial or something like that. The first thing I see, because you see right here, you see the reviews and everything. And then you go down here, you see the portfolios. So that's the continuity of everything. So I know that, yeah, that Christina works with a team. She knows digital marketing. She's not going to be the right person for us now. You see someone that's really a kick-ass freelancer right from the start, because you know exactly what she does, and she's passionate about it, and she has a team, and she would be someone that I would hire to help me with digital marketing, but not necessarily as someone that's going to be my virtual assistant, right? And so we don't want to waste anybody's time here, but Christina is a G for sure. Christina G. So good stuff, Christina, and you look like a highly competent freelancer. 11,000 hours here. This is a person, guys, that's crushing it. So take a screenshot of her profile, because that's who you want to. That's what you want to look like. Do you see the difference between what I've been showing you guys for the past 20 minutes? People with nothing on their profile, and then Christina G being a G. All right. So good stuff, Christina. Let's go into Levon. So he's got some money made on the system. Looks like he got a banger of a job. From Johnstown, PA. Shout out to Central Pennsylvania, Penn State. Woo. So 4K earned, 100 hours. Congrats on hitting that 3 digi mark. Virtual assistant, maintains response to emails, proficient and with Shopify partners, transferred to team, and communications. And I'm guessing that that Shopify probably helped him get in the door and being specific there in the first place. For maybe these other jobs. But yeah, it's interesting that you were working $40 an hour and $80 an hour, and you're listed at 13. So so yeah, I don't know what exactly is going on, Levon, but I don't know why you're going back in your rates. You shouldn't be. So we'll talk about it. I'll send you an invitation. But I think that he should have a lot more on his profile, but I'm curious after, that amount of time, he must know something, right? So we have 27 email jobs, communication. So I won't go through that many more of these, but I think you guys are getting the general feel here. 700. This is actually a good range. This means someone's started, got their beak wet in Upwork, know that it works. Kings County, New York, one job for job in progress, so it's still going on, still going strong. Continuity between the hourly rate and now shows that the person's still comfortable with what's going on. A virtual assistant with over 20 years in customer and employee service. If you are feeling overwhelmed and feel the need to outsource some work so you can focus on expanding your business, I am here to assist. It's a great sentence because it's painting the picture for freelancers, and for clients, and that's exactly what I'm going through. So that's dependable. It's nice to hear. It's nice to see that stuff out loud. It would be nice to see some of the platforms that she's worked with. It would be nice to see this skill filled out, and it would be nice to see some portfolio items. But it looks like you have been able to sell yourself to, one job, one gig. So congrats. It's pretty cool. I think, I'll send an invite. Why not? It sounds like you're just getting started. You're from New York, as am I. Could work out nicely, right? So, okay, let's go up to Gus from Miami. So we got 2 total jobs, 400 plus earned, experienced, a marketing specialist, project manager, and executive virtual assistant. And you see that some good feedback here. Experienced marketing specialist, project manager, and executive virtual assistant with a demonstrated history of working for a variety of industries and private business. I am skilled in Mondays, Zoho, Microsoft G Suite, all the stuff that I need, right? So cool to see. $30 an hour. Gus, long story short, you're getting an invitation. Okay, guys. So I think we're good. What's this? 33. Okay. So I'm a virtual assistant who's Sarah. Looks like you haven't landed your job yet. And why don't we just invite you anyway? Just to throw you into the party. Okay. So, all right. So we're done for right now. So let's see if possibly no qualified proposals yet. So we're still early here. We can still invite, and we will come back to you when we start getting some proposals. I still think it's a little early on the East Coast. So since we put it US based only, it's not like we're going to get the whole world bidding. You become more time zone restrictive when you do the US based stuff. So just keep that in mind, and we will come back with another video going through the proposals so we could see who went through the job posting correctly and who did not. I hope you found this video helpful, guys. And I know that it's long form and we went through everything, and I know that I'm talking a lot. Let me know if you have any comments. I would love to help you further, and hopefully you got some value, whether you're a client posting on Upwork or you're a freelancer trying to become all that you can be. And just remember, we all at some point didn't have skills, right? Like at some point didn't have reviews. We at some point didn't have a business on either side of the table. So it's going to require yourself to bring skills to the table, save the client time, figure out how you can be a useful person for these clients. And I promise, if you do that stuff, if you acquire these skills to be able to do that, everybody's going to be happy, because there's never a situation where a client's unhappy that you know how to use a platform that they're looking to use. It's never going to happen. You're never going to hurt yourself by learning more. I call it learn to earn. You guys should be embracing it if you have the time. Again, thank you so much. If you liked this video, please leave a comment. Let me know if I can be helpful in any other way. Please let me know. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.